What's up, boys and girls? This is Geoff Woo. Welcome to my private island. Today, we're gonna react to more business guru videos. Let's get started.
The easiest way to make $1 million is buy something that's $10 million, buy it for 8, and you sell it to somebody else for 10. There you go, you made 2. You don't have to do anything, you just buy something that's worth a lot and sell it to someone for a little bit more. How do you think guys make $1 billion? They buy something that's $10 billion and they sell it for 11, they made $1 billion. That's how that kind of money is made. They're not making it, they're arbitraging value.
It sounds easy, but if something's worth 10 million, you gotta be real smart, real clever, real feisty to figure out how to buy it for 8. If something's worth 11 billion and you can buy it for 10, you gotta be real feisty, real smart, real clever to buy it for 10 billion. Again, that's tautology. If you can pick up something for a discount and then flip it immediately for profit, that's literally called arbitrage. That's what algo traders, the Renaissance techs, the jump trading, they're basically doing arbitrage, pennies on the dollar, but just doing it at super mass volume. When you talk about buying businesses or buying assets for 9 and flipping it for 11, that's probably more private equity, or you gotta buy, fix it up and flip it. I don't know if it's easy. There are serious professionals with decades of experience, teams, specialists, in which to do algo trading on the public side, in which to do private equity on the distress side or the asset side or the real estate side. General principle behind a lot of different industries. This in of itself is a pretty useless statement. It's like saying, I can buy a Pokemon card for $5 and sell it for $15, but the hard part is finding the person who's gonna sell me a $15 Pokemon card for $5. That's where all the sauce is. No sauce is being offered here, just a soundbite.
You're crazy until you're successful, then you're a genius. I think for a lot of people, when you're grinding, people think you're too obsessed.
Just pausing there, I feel like he's just stealing a Steve Jobs quote there.
Those people that are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones that actually do.
You're a weirdo. Stop only making videos. Like, get a life. Be realistic. And people will commit to you're out of your mind for wanting to.
Oh, this is Mr. Beast.
Then what?
So yeah, Miss Jimmy, you're copying a Steve Jobs quote, my brother.
But it's like, yeah, well, where was that back then? You know what I mean? I didn't get that when I was a small channel. And so I think you're crazy until you're successful. Then you're a genius.
I mean, there's so much sun. I didn't realize that this was Jimmy, Mr. Beast, giving this quote. So you gotta, give flowers for you're taking inspiration from. So this is a very classic Steve Jobsian. I don't even think it's Steve Jobsian. I think it's like Martin Luther King or like Gandhi. Like a quick fact check. I just realized that it wasn't even a Steve Jobsian quote. I think he actually aped it from Gandhi, and just Googling it really quickly. It's actually not even a Gandhi quote. Like the famous quote is, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. Apparently, fact check is that a trade union activist, Nicholas Klein, made this original statement. So I think a lot of what Mr. Beast does is actually very reminiscent and inspired by game TV shows. I think all of us steal like an artist, remix like an artist. Even though Mr. Beast is the best YouTuber in the world, a lot of his ideas, his concepts are borrowed, stolen, remixed from known templates, Squid Games or Fear Factor. So to me, when I look at and analyze the business model for Mr. Beast, he's essentially building these games in a modern context on YouTube. Better jump cuts, snappier edits, more theatrics in a homespun South Carolina homey way, which all credit, he's done that and scaled that to hundreds of millions of subscribers and $1 billion business empire. So my inspiration or my takeaway on this one is that even the very best are borrowing, stealing, remixing ideas from the past. So the challenge for all of us is not to think of ourselves as lone geniuses that are coming up with concepts and novelty and novel ideas from scratch. We are all products of our environment, and there's so much substrate of material that we're all constantly working with. I think the best way to be inspired by someone like Mr. Beast is that look up to your heroes, steal their ideas, remix their ideas, implement it into your specific strength areas and your specific niche. Fear Factor, when Joe Rogan was the host, couldn't do it on internet. Basically, Mr. Beast put Joe Rogan's Fear Factor on the internet. But Joe Rogan himself went on and became the biggest podcaster in the world. So all these characters in like the modern context are taking known concepts, known ideas, and remixing it to new medium, new formats, and different twists and flavors of core fundamental things that entertain and interest people. When you really break down what the greatest are doing, it's actually not that complicated. It's not that hard. It's just that it takes a lot of energy, thoughtfulness, grind, and ultimately confidence and resources to pull off and compound like some of the greats do. But we all got to start from somewhere, right? And I think what's really impressive to me is when you look at Jimmy when he was a teenager. I mean, honestly, the videos were quite terrible, right? It's literally him saying the same word 100,000 times for 18 hours straight. If that humble beginning can generate something so great, all of us can become great ourselves.
Get in front of your camera and do a couple of things. Put it out there on social. It's 30 seconds. Don't be giving me no 2 hours because you're going to sell Sizzle, not steak. They're not paying you for steak. So you won't give away the Sizzle. We trying to give too much steak. And then folks is full. They only want to pay for a meal, but you gave it free. And you cooked it real good. No. Sizzle. So they keep
Sizzle.
Them tidbits and nuggets. 30 seconds here and there.
I like energy. Boom,
That's
sizzle.
That's what you do. And get your pot on you. Next thing you know, you charge it.
I like her energy. I think she's selling a little bit of sizzle. Good for her. She is correct in terms of short form video. I think it's the cheapest form of content, cheapest form of engagement. I understand that sizzle is very thin value. So I'm very self-aware, self-conscious that I'm also selling a lot of sizzle, and I think this lady is talking about selling the sizzle, but it's not durable, it's not real. The real power comes from long form content, sitting down with me for 30, 60, 90 minutes, not 30, 60, 90 seconds. So of course, get the sizzle to get the thing started, but that is not enough. Sizzle will disappear. How many TikTok dancers that were big, these cute girls or these cute guys dancing around that you've seen on the internet that are completely irrelevant 2 years later? Literally all of them. And I'm very self-aware of that. So for me, I'm gonna exploit the sizzle, as we all should. We didn't invent the rules of the game, but we can observe the rules. We gotta exploit the rules that we understand, which is sell the sizzle, but very, very clearly, make sure you actually got the steak underneath. Like that's what I'm working really, really hard towards and doing these longer form videos on YouTube, because sizzle gets you through the door, but a steak makes you stay. So she's got it half right. Get the door open, but kick it through, walk in and own the room. And that's what steak gets you. That's what real substance gets you. So I think one of the mottos of my channel is real substance, real business. That's what I'm about. Not just to give you the little fake watches and the fake boats and the rental, look at my private island, right? But that doesn't matter. It's about the real substance that actually keeps you sticking around. That's my take here. We'll go to the next one.
Secret AI money printing hacks that will make you a millionaire in your 20s.
Ooh, I love the secret money printing hacks. Let's go, boys. Let's become millionaires.
You can use ChatGPT to provide automated freelance services. You can use Jasper AI to write ebooks and sell them on Amazon.
It's actually kind of funny that he's referencing ChatGPT and Jasper AI in the same sentence, because ChatGPT basically took out Jasper AI's business.
You can use Midjourney to create an NFT project and sell it on OpenSea. Follow me for more.
You're talking about the most viral, popular AI tools, Midjourney and ChatGPT, as if they were some novel secret money printing hack. Nah, bro, like Midjourney has millions of users. ChatGPT is the fastest growing app in history. Really, millions of users are using ChatGPT. You think that you figure out some way to turn your little chatbot and sell that as a service, or you're gonna generate some images from Midjourney and package up and sell these things. I could on this guy and his idiot hook here, but I'm going to turn this constructive and informative. I think the main thing that you should take away from this specific clip is that, as he rightly suggests, the production of content, the production of copy, the production of images and video are becoming commoditized. It means it becomes cheaper and cheaper and more free to produce a shitload of content. So if you're a content creator and that's the product, you got to be very, very careful, because the cost of production of these said work products is going down to zero. So you have to think about what is valuable in a world where content creation costs going down to zero. So let's pause and think. If production costs going down to zero, then what's important? Distribution, go to market, getting the product into other people's hands in which you can extract money from them. So distribution, marketing, getting people to actually buy your specific bullshit, commoditized, auto-generated piece of content is where all the value is from now. You have to see what he's trying to do versus listening to what he's trying to do. He is trying to get your attention by getting follows, right? His nice call to action to follow him for more. He's trying to hijack your attention in which to sell you something, right? Because he knows the content production side is zero. And we should all know that content costs are going down to zero. So it's more and more important and valuable in which to acquire distribution, acquire a following, acquiring people paying attention to you, because then you can monetize that attention. This is, one of many hucksters, many shills, grifters who are gonna just tell you about some commoditized AI tool and try to tell you they're some guru and offer you nothing of value. Follow me instead. I'll give you real value.
This is how to get out of your 9-to-5 and into financial freedom as quickly as possible.
Your obligations, the creature comforts around us, are what ties us down. So financial freedom is actually free. You just need to not spend anything.
I went from working in a construction job to making over $30,000 a month online in less than a year.
Ooh, internet entrepreneuring, 30K a month, so 360K annualized, a top 5% income.
To entryway to make 10K a month online. All remote sales or remote closing is selling expensive products or services online, and all you're doing in that role is taking a few sales calls.
Remote sales closing. So he's talking about being a digital salesperson. This goes on to like all this content around like high ticket closers, pressure sales. If you want to do like the ratios correctly to make 10, 20, 30K of product sales, that means you probably need to be selling 150 to 300K of software or product to generate probably 30K of commission. I'm assuming a 5 to 10x multiple of what the business needs to make in terms of delivering the product, actually building the company, having the overhead in which to pay you that commission. So if you think you can sell $150,000 to $300,000 of stuff a month, then yeah, you could probably clip $30,000 a month. But selling 150, 300 G's of stuff a month, not that easy. If you can, I will hire you. I will pay you $360,000 a year if you can sell $3 million of stuff for me.
Here's the only copywriting guide you will ever need. This technique I'm about to show you has allowed me to scale to 6 figures per year while only working 1 to 2 hours each.
Ooh. So copywriting is just fancy way of writing marketing language. So like marketing headlines, emails, writing landing pages for websites, that's copywriting. So let's disambiguate. This guy's gonna teach us how to write marketing language and only get to work 1 to 2 hours a day. Can I predict? He's gonna tell you about using ChatGPT to generate some copy.
Gurus here on TikTok won't show you. They love to talk about how much you can make writing copy, but they don't teach you how or what to write, which is obviously the most important part. So this is a quick no BS guide that will take you from wanting to learn to ready to earn in like 60 seconds.
Ooh, 60 seconds from ready to learn to ready to earn. I like that little soundbite.
First up, hop in a Google Doc and make a table that looks like this. Make sure you screenshot the table for later. So
Okay.
It is by far the easiest way to structure your emails. It will help you learn to write quickly and efficiently, which is obviously the name of the game when it comes to stacking on multiple clients. Next up, hop on Google and search up a generic piece of clothing, shirts, shoes, whatever.
I think the hand wave of getting multiple clients, again, goes back to the skill set is not that hard. Signing clients is the hard part. I think all these gurus who are teaching how to do stuff don't tell you the actual hard part, which is actually signing contracts with businesses.
Now for the fun part. Find a brand that catches your eye and write some sample copy for them using the table you just screenshotted. Don't worry, no one's going to see your first draft. It's just practice. Yes, your first email is going to suck. Mine absolutely did. On to the next step. Choose a product and a holiday and write a discount email. For example, you can do North Face and Christmas or Lulu and Valentine's Day. Once you draft up your email, plug it into ChatGPT.
Oh, I was a little bit worried because the episode is running out. And I was like, oh, he's not talking about AI. Like, he's telling you about how to structure emails, which may be interesting. But I have a ChatGPT bot in my brain to predict the gurus.
Do this 5 times per day for 1 week, and I promise you will have enough knowledge to land your first client.
See, what did I tell you? Again, I feel like this is internet guru business bullshit 101. Basically, wrap a ChatGPT prompt and then sell it to people. And the hard part in a world where content creation goes to zero is that distribution gets increasingly competitive. So the hard part of being a copywriter in this day and age is not generating the copy. It's convincing a client, a brand, someone who has budget to spend on marketing emails to pay your sorry ass to write the copy for them, or basically AKA write a prompt to ChatGPT in which to generate the copy. That gets increasingly hard. Right? You gotta have a resume, you gotta have some secret techniques, gotta have some know-how, a track record, show me the ROI in your campaign, show me the click-through rates, let's get into the metrics. I'm gonna try to hire you as an email copywriter. So this guy spent 60 seconds telling you to use ChatGPT to write some emails. That's obvious, that's not a novel insight. Instead, follow me. So you get the no BS takedowns of these wannabe no BS grifters. I'll show you actually how real companies, how real venture capital, how real business empires are being built in today using AI, but also using the personal relationships and the actual finesse of having education, of having engineering background, have rigorous understanding of what business actually means in this day and age. Unfortunately, this guy predictable as a chatbot.
Don't start dropshipping in 2024. Here's what I would do instead. Dropshipping has been around for over a decade now, and honestly, it's super competitive.
Facts. Super competitive.
Competition is not a bad thing, and it's not impossible to succeed with dropshipping, but I personally wouldn't start dropshipping in 2024, mainly because selling a digital product instead of a physical product like with dropshipping is 10 times more profitable. If you've seen some dropshipper post a screenshot of like a 50K Shopify store, that's likely...
So instead of doing dropshipping, he wants to do the digital product equivalent, which is info products.
So you sell it an infinite amount of times with really low expenses and low fulfillment. I currently run a digital community that did $250,000 in revenue last month with 90% profit margins. I actually made a free course breaking down exactly what I did and how you can do it too.
Cool, man. Look, he is correct to point out that dropshipping is relatively low margin. This actually reminds me of our favorite Grant Cardone, who only talks about the revenue, how much revenue he has. And I bust his ball being like, yo, I don't give a f about revenue. Tell me your gross margins, your year-on-year growth rate, and your net profit. Show me your cash flow. That's what's real. Revenue, vanity metric. It's all about gross profit. And he is correct. Info products, basically selling you a piece of content, a video that he produces once and sell many times, very, very high margin. And that's why enterprise software companies are valued so much, because you build a software once, you can sell it infinite times. But easy come, easy go, right? I think when you're trying to sell access to subscriptions, access to info products, I don't disbelieve that he could probably pull down $250K a month for a couple months, but to add enough value where these people get enough value every single month to have a subscription for 10, 20, 30 bucks a month to be a part of this Discord channel or whatever community is running and see some lectures of how to do business. You gotta look at retention. I think it's very hard to retain people on these info product subscriptions. I don't know anything about his business. He's generally understanding some basic concepts of business model, which is gross margin, all of that good stuff. But we'll see. We'll see if he can retain. He has lifetime value on these subscribers to his info product. That's the hard part for this type of business model. Good luck to you, man. Hope you keep compounding.
If you're working all the time and your business isn't growing, you're working on the wrong shit.
Yeah, fair. If you're working really hard with no progress, tautologically, that means you're probably doing the wrong shit. Fair.
It's hard to swallow, but like if your day doesn't change and your revenue hasn't changed, the day's the problem. If you think about money making as a bridge and you got to get $1 across, most people spend all their time reinforcing a pillar that already is way beyond the capacity of the dollars they're going through. They add potential to the system, but they don't debottleneck it. It's like making it wider when there's still a 1-lane highway here. You go from 4 lanes to 8 lanes, but there's still 1 here. It doesn't really matter. You have potential, so that in the future when you debottleneck it, you'll be able to go faster, further, but you still haven't debottlenecked it.
Cool. I think what Alex is saying here is fairly simple, but I guess in terms of just giving flowers where flowers are due, sometimes breaking down simple concepts and reiterating and repeating is valuable to a lot of novice business people. Yeah, I think in some sense, entrepreneurship is basically finding bottlenecks in terms of your product and services, whether that's employees, sales, product engineering, design, and creating that ambiguity and chaos into scalable jobs, right? So when I look at a new company and a new product or a new service, I look at this ambiguity of solving a customer's problem, and I define that ambiguity into blocks that end up being people's jobs. The founder, the CEO, the initial people behind the business need to essentially take the ambiguity of the infinite world of possibilities and multitude of possibilities of how to make a business and chunk those up into cohesive, consistent job functions that individual other people can come in, take over, and scale for you. So essentially he's saying you can't just do the same job over and over again. At some point you will max out that specific capacity, and to further expand the business, you need to develop new capacity. That's all he is saying, which is fair. I think the best product for Alex Hormozi is Alex Hormozi himself. And what I mean by that is that he dresses with his branded company on every single piece of public content he does. He's always wearing an acquisition.com hat or a t-shirt. He has the same uniform of having a wife beater. He's a very muscular, jacked man. But that's a very interesting juxtaposition towards a business person that runs a $100 million business empire. I don't think you expect like a meathead with a big beard, with a baseball cap and a wife beater being a $100 million business person, talking about software, talking about SaaS, talking about business models. That to me is not an accident. That to me is an engineered, calculated image creation of Alex Hormozi, the product himself. That is the most impressive thing about Alex, and we got to give flowers to where world-class execution is done. So kudos to that, and very curious to see how Alex Hormozi, the product, continues to scale and evolve in the years to come.
Nick's paid me $4,000. It cost me $4,800 to do the song. I'll ask the audience, if there's a chat room, you can let me know. Is that a good business model? No. Wrong. That's an amazing business model, because when you start out in business, people buy into people, stories, and momentum more than products. People buy into people and the story and the momentum more than products. Man, you're the business plan.
Wow, pretty aggressive. You're the business plan. He's correct. When I look at pre-seed stage startup investments, it's a people read. It's an animal smell. Are you unstoppable? Do you get it? Do I want to spend time with you, mentoring, coaching, advising, being involved with your rocket ship? I think Jesse understands this really, really well, just given how he's focused so much on his content and his narrative as an entrepreneur. People want to join and be part of interesting stories and narratives. So the more interesting you create your life, your trajectory, why you are the man or woman to conquer this industry, and why you're uniquely set up about to do that, and what is your secret learnings and lessons in which to attack this problem set, tell me a captivating story. One, because I want to be entertained, but two, I'm also sussing out your ability to sell other investors, your future employees, your future customers. If you can't sell me and be charismatic to me, how can I believe that you can be charismatic downstream to other people? But that's like the most cynical way to look at it. In earnest, like the greatest entrepreneurs have the greatest stories. We should think about how to reverse engineer our own stories, our own companies, our own missions to be the most impressive and inspiring versions of themselves. I think we're all each on our individual journeys to make the most self-actualized, best version of ourselves exist. Why not just really take a step back and invest, take some risks, invest some money into making the best possible story? Because if you have a best possible story and you miss, you still land somewhere pretty interesting. If you aim low to be like, hey, I want the 9-to-5 thing, you hit it, you get it, you're probably not that excited about it. So it's okay to take some risks, try to live the most amazing life story as possible. And through that journey, through that thought process, through that experiment, you'll probably have some badass stories to tell in which to inspire and build a business from.
Every DoubleTree hotel in the world has an oven. And at check-in, each guest is given a warm chocolate chip cookie that is baked on site.
I'm pretty sure I've stayed at a DoubleTree, but I don't remember this.
The pandemic,
but okay, all right,
they were
cool.
fully operating. DoubleTree was baking and distributing 75,000 chocolate chip cookies every day.
Okay, that means 75,000 check-ins on a day. Okay, it's pretty good volume and turnover for a hotel chain.
And we surveyed their global customers. And we found that 1/3 of those customers told somebody a story about the chocolate chip cookie, which means that DoubleTree hotels benefited from 25,000 stories a day, which is why DoubleTree hotels spends less on advertising than any other hotel chain in their competitive set.
I learned something today. I think that's a little cool little factoid around customer delight. I think when we think about real business and real business models, we are all here to delight and serve our customers. Whether you're a hotel chain, a software business, an entertainment product, a content creator to entertain you, making a drink, a ketone drink in which you drink and get a little a boost in energy. We're ultimately all delivering some joy, some happiness, some utility to the end consumer. So the fact that you can add a little bit of delight with a cheap chocolate cookie, right? Like a chocolate cookie probably costs you 15 cents to make in that oven. But to earn that word of mouth for 33% of the time, which I mean, it seems a little bit high. Like, I don't know. I don't remember. I'm sure I say the DoubleTree didn't register in my brain. I probably don't want to eat a stale cookie anyways, but it's a good business play, right? Because if there's even a 5% word of mouth conversion rate versus the 33 that is claimed here, which I think is probably on the higher end, it is still worth the incremental OpEx to have that marketing spend, because you got to think about it this way. Would you rather spend that extra dollar on an incremental Facebook ad or an Instagram ad or a TikTok ad, or make 6 cookies in which to delight that customer every little way? So I think that's all of us as entrepreneurs should be thinking about. We can always easily spend more money on advertising, on media, but if you can add a little piece of delight to your customer through the product itself or through the experience itself, that oftentimes is better marketing spend. So to me, it's basic math. It's not even about delight or not delight. I look at weaponizing delight in terms of to get cheaper marketing arbitrage, right? To be really ruthlessly capitalist about it. But I think it also just makes a better experience anyway. So I don't think it's ruthless or not ruthless. I think it's start with the math, make sure it maths, and then think about delight, but it has to ultimately make sense. I think it's probably just good business sense, right? Like the math checks out. You offer delight through a cheap chocolate chip cookie, you spend less on marketing. The business wins, the customer wins, and the only people that lose out a little bit are the media people who earn a little bit less of advertising spend, which I think is overall win-win. You should take that little cookie to implement into your own business.
In copy, in my digital marketing agency, we would purposefully misspell 1 or 2 words. In sales copy, there is a human psychology exciting moment when you're reading something and you spot it and you catch it. You feel like you have some intellect, and you actually read the rest of the article at a higher percentage. So bad spelling turned into a positive strategy. So when a client used to call us and go, why is there a misspelling? We're like, we did it on purpose.
I think that's probably a fair insight. The performance might check out, but I'd be very careful about this approach and strategy, because if you read a Nike ad or an Apple ad or a Louis Vuitton ad and you see a marketing typo, you're like, psh, this brand is low quality. So you gotta be careful with stuff like this, right? You might buy eyeballs, you might buy retention in terms of just people reading through that piece of copy, but you're also buying low quality connotations. You're sloppy, you don't read your copy that correctly. So I think this is like the perfect viral piece. Hey, we made a little typo and we're so fucking clever that we made the typo and we exploited that little typo to hijack your attention, and we can sell you more stuff. But every little technique has its trade-offs, has its costs. You have to make the careful decision. You mortgage your pristine brand and position of your brand to be a little bit sloppy. You're trading off brand prestige for a little bit more retention on reading that specific copy, which may or may not be a good trade. For me, I would not implement this. This feels cheap. It feels low class. Might be a little bit of a good hack, but I doubt you're getting that much increased performance. You might get more read-through rates, but I don't believe you're gonna get more actual conversion percentage. So this is a perfect tidbit to sound smart, but actually might be fucking dumb. Happy to debate about this. Show me your receipts. We'll see, and we'll compete on the results, not on the little tidbits of stories.
What's your take on email?
Dude, that is so untapped for most business owners. They're afraid to send every day because they don't want to piss people off. Like, I have brands that we send emails for that send 5, 6 emails a day. And we just spam the list, because the list, like, there's the quote of build a list. Like, when you want to make money, build a list.
Yeah.
Like, you should be making 20% extra.
5, 6 emails a day. Look, I'm always a go, go, go type of guy. I think the general affect is people are not aggressive enough. So I generally like this guy's energy, right? Go spam 5, 6, 7 emails a day, have a welcome sequence, have a freaking 50 email campaign for the first week. But at a certain point, calm the F down. Like, I actually think he's full of shit, because if you've actually scaled email lists, you actually send emails, my brother in Christ, you're gonna get your domain banned, bro. Like, you're spamming 50 emails a week from your domain. You're gonna damage your email deliverability here. When he's saying, hey, go spam 5, 6 emails a day, every single day, that tells me that he's not a very sophisticated email marketer. So be careful on listening to people who are talking some mad shit here. In general, I like being aggressive, right? Don't be afraid to email. I think 3 to 7 emails a week, and then back off on the cadence after you get the initial email to more of a steady state rhythm. I don't know, it's just like when you're telling people to write 50 emails a week, it's just like, dude, you don't sound realistic at all. No brand is doing that. Like, I don't believe you have clients. Maybe you do have your business and all of that. I hate shitting on people's business, but you just don't sound very credible to me when you're talking about sending 50 emails a day and getting your domain blacklisted from all the email delivery services.
Yeah, like Luke Belmar, Alex Ramosi, Sam Ovens. They don't talk about it publicly as much, but if you
never heard of Sam Ovens, but the other two guys have been popular recurring cast characters on the Geoff Woo show.
You really go do some digging, you'll figure out that a lot of them started social media marketing agencies initially, and I believe there's something in the water with people who start marketing agencies and they figure out a way to make it succeed. They build these skills and they get paid to build these skills, and they leverage those skills to go build bigger and better things. And that's literally what I've done too. So there's something in the water here.
I don't know if there's something in the water, but just natural progression and skill set. If you're a great digital marketer or social media marketer, then of course at a certain point you're gonna sell your own thing because you realize that maybe making the product is not so hard either. So I think it just boils down to, if you're a great operator, a great executor, you could either sell someone else's stuff or sell your own stuff. So to me, this is not something in the water, it's not some pattern. Just like, look, if you're the best in the world at anything, you can quickly learn the other aspects of value creation. And then you can choose to hire other people to do those parts with you. So not some conspiracy. Good for these people to create good social media platforms in which they then build their businesses. To me, this is just natural progression and stuff. Let's move on to the next guy. Let's see what this guy has to say.
Don't say it's hard to reach out to somebody over Instagram. Don't say it's hard, to make a TikTok. Reaching out to people. Whoa. Go tell that to your, no. Go tell them sending 60 messages a day on the Instagram DM. It's hard. No. It was such a hard day. Grandma, it was such a hard day today. I sent 60 messages.
Okay.
60 messages, that's hard? We used to,
no, not really, but where are you going with this?
On the horse and had to go deliver it to people. Now you can send 60 messages in the morning and that's fucking hard? Their grandparents had to write messages, get a bird, a pigeon, give the message to the pigeon would fly it over. Sending 60 messages is hard? A fucking pigeon.
Carrier pigeons?
A horse. And now you have Instagram and TikTok. It's hard? Come on!
I don't even know how to respond to this guy. Like, what did I just watch? I don't think anyone's saying that DMing people is hard. Like, is anyone out there saying, oh, sliding DMs to accounts is hard? I don't, like, who are you arguing with, bro? You're strawmanning some hypothetical lazy Gen Z kid who thinks that sending 60 DMs a day is hard. No one's saying that's hard. I think getting responses is hard, right? I think that's probably the most utility I can extract from this sales bro, or I don't know who this guy is, but look, you can slide DMs all day. Yeah, it is not very hard, but it's actually hard to get people's attention. So I always go back to the fact, don't just start sliding people, right? Like, who's gonna be more effective? This guy sliding 60 DMs a day, or someone like me, getting that warm introduction to actually talk to a business person that I want to do a deal with or start a business with or collaborate on or invest in their company. The cold inbound, the initial introduction is not the hard part. Your fallacious argument about carrier pigeons and the Pony Express, very colorful language, but you're talking to nobody. I think what people are trying to understand is, how do you get that initial introduction? Don't sweat the cold inbound. You can try to cold email and cold intro, low probability of working, but it does work, so try. It's a numbers game. But I think the most important thing is develop your own skill, create value in of yourself. The more valuable you are as a human, other great people are gonna wanna work with you. So they're gonna come to you instead of you going to them. That's the hack. That's what's most interesting, not some bullshit story about the Pony Express or a carrier pigeon.
I remember walking into my office at like 20 and turning to my partner and saying,
all right, Jesse.
They just haven't paid us yet. And like, I believe that. I knew that was coming for me. And I think that that conviction is really important early on in your journey. Like, how you talk to yourself in your 20s creates an environment of what you will become in your 30s and 40s.
A lot of what Jesse speaks to is honestly survivorship bias. There are probably 1,000 people that were in their 20s that say they're going to be millionaires and billionaires, and like one out of 1,000, 1 out of 10,000 actually make it. And if you're that lucky person that makes it, you say, hey, I just need self-belief, I can get there. You're like, oh, all you need is believe in yourself. Look, every freaking person, I'm sure that the 999 people that also believe in themselves and were telling themselves they were millionaires didn't make it. So to me, self-belief is required but insufficient. Like, I don't want the story that Jesse's telling here to be like, oh, all you need is believe. You should have believed harder. You failed because you didn't believe enough. That's bullshit. Don't question people's belief in themselves, right? Like, of course, people want to be millionaires. They want to be billionaires. But that's not enough. You got to tell them, you got to inspire them on the actual hard work, the skills, the techniques, the actual laddering of relationships, of skill sets, of infrastructure to actually get there. So to me, this is a cheap piece of content. Hey, my brother in Christ, go believe in yourself more. Jesus is gonna bring you to heaven and whatnot. You just need to believe more, right? It's just some like almost pseudo-religious affect. Like, you didn't believe hard enough, that's why you failed. That's not good enough, Jesse. You should level up your game and actually open up your kimono of what you're exactly doing, the step-by-step backroom deals that you're doing today to scale your business. That will be more helpful. I've seen you do that. You should focus more on that content than some sorry hey, you didn't believe hard enough in yourself and that's why you failed type of a narrative. That's not useful. That's not instructive. You can do better than this. Level up your game, my brother.
Why are you wasting your time learning international business? Go international.
It's this, bro. The internet seems very polarized on this guy. Some people think he's super smart, but a lot of people think he's a little Andrew Tate dick rider and not very smart. So I don't want to damage my IQ by looking at him too much, but for you guys, let's see what he's got to say this time.
I studied international business, all right? And then my international business professor had never been overseas. Said, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Ooh.
And I
hard.
International business entrepreneur.
Ooh.
So, you want to learn international business? Start doing business. I'm not gonna learn it from a motherfucking textbook.
Sounds hard. In some sense, like, to give Luke a little bit of credit here, like, it's fair. If you are gonna learn from people in which you're paying tuition dollars to, double check the credentials, right? I think a lot of academia is all about textbook learning, which is useful to understand abstract concepts, but generally agree that in entrepreneurship, in real business building, knife fighting in the dirt, in the grind, being out there on the field is probably more useful and practical. So I think it's fair that if you're talking international business with someone who's never traveled overseas, you got scammed out of your tuition dollars, my brother. Even that said, I think there probably is reasonable stuff you can learn from anybody, right? Like, again, international business, I agree, it's kind of a useless sounding major, but are you learning accounting? Are you learning venture capital? Are you learning tariffs? Are you learning different export-import licenses? There are things to learn there. So I think it's like, you got to drill into what exactly you're learning. You don't need to be, you know, a James Bond globe-trotting business person to be able to tell me about import-export licensing law and all that stuff. I'm trying to do international business, right? So there's more authenticity from learning from someone who's actually been there and done that. But that's not to discount that you can have pretty sharp academic insights from folks that not necessarily have been there and done that, but have studied this and studied the history of it. And you can definitely extract lessons from that type of person as well. I think there's just a balance on this, right? Why not have both? Roll up your sleeves, start working on business, start trying to do business abroad. I think this idea of international business is kind of a weird one. Like, what does that even mean this day, where on the internet, your content is distributed internationally by default? So essentially, I think the only serious international business like import, export, delivering hard physical goods, supply chains, freight forwarding, there's probably some academic stuff you can learn from there. And yeah, I think getting your hands dirty by structuring these deals, seeing how the factories are made in China or India or overseas, probably a valuable experience, but equally valuable is learning the laws, learning the regulations, getting to understand the value chain from an academic lens. Like most things in life, it's not one or the other. Master everything. That's how you actually succeed. All right, this motherfucker again. Let's see what he's got to say this time.
Can I ask you how much money you have? No chance. That's one of those things where I will never disclose how much I'm worth because I've learned a lot about how Asians move with regards to money, especially in the Chinese system.
Ooh, how do Asians move, huh?
Energy. And the moment you begin to expose that energy, people start to understand how powerful or how weak you truly are. So numbers will keep them private. Let's just leave actions to speak for themselves.
Feels like Cap. Feels like he doesn't have money, so he doesn't want to tell you about it. And the Asian thing, I don't know, like it sounds very exotic and very oriental. Oh, money is energy and the Asians keep that thing secret. I don't speak for all Asians, but I don't really think of money as energy. There is some sense of humbleness and modesty in the culture, right? Don't say you have a bunch of cash in your friggin' house so you come and go rob my ass. So to me, it's like, I don't know if it's a Asian thing or just like a self-sensibility and humbleness and modesty thing. I'm seeing the caption here. Yaposaurus Rex Luke Belmar. It's pretty funny. I appreciate it, right? I think it is actually pretty lame to pull up bank account statements and be like, hey, look at my $17 million bank account, or here's my Forbes article that says how much net worth I have. In some sense, I appreciate the actions speak for themselves type affect, but it rings false to me because your actions are standing in front of a rented Ferrari. You basically do not have the money, and then your actions are standing in front of rented expensive things. So you're trying to get it both ways, which is that you don't have the money to show, but your actions are showing the toys associated with money. So you're sending mixed messages, my brother. If you really want to speak and focus on the business, then speak towards the goddamn business. Don't speak about this energy flow of like the ancient oriental money magic thing. I don't know, it sounds very exotic to me. Like that sounds really sexy and cool. Like sign me up for the Asian money energy club and teach me how the Asian billionaires run their money. Fuck you, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
So I've been using this thing called the let them theory. I love this. I want you to try it. Here's how it works.
Let them theory.
The next time you feel left out.
Mel Robbins, not familiar with her, but it looks like this clip went mad viral. So I'm excited to learn what this theory is. All right, let's go.
All go out to brunch together and they don't invite you. Let them. Or maybe the person you're dating doesn't want a commitment. Let them. Or perhaps your spouse does not want to do the 5K with you.
I don't know if this is much of a theory other than don't be so thin-skinned of what other people want to do with their lives. But we'll give it a shot. We'll continue.
Let them. Your company is laying people off. Let them. You spend so much time and energy trying to control other people and getting emotionally worked up about things that are beyond your control. You can tap into peace and true control if you let them be themselves. And here's the other thing. If you let them, people will then reveal who they truly are. And when they reveal who they truly are to you, you now know what you can choose next that's right for you. So let them.
Oh, look, I think it's pretty axiomatic what she's saying, so it sounds like obvious. I don't know, I guess it must be some profound truth for a lot of people, because a lot of people seem to like this clip. The way I think about it is like this force of nature analogy. I don't control the weather, if it's sunny or not sunny. I don't get personally upset if it's raining on me. If a hurricane is coming, I try to move out the way. If it's sunny, I'm gonna enjoy the weather. But I have no emotional attachment to the weather outcome because I know I have no control over it. You can almost dehumanize the human part of it and just treat other people's actions as forces of nature. Like, you do not expect to control the weather. And I think that's essentially what Mel is saying here, which is that there are things that you can control and things that you do not control. For things that you cannot control, don't get too butthurt about it. Which again, I think is very axiomatic for how I live and how we should all live. So there is some truth there. To me, it's like you can call it a let them theory. I think this is like a very basic construct in philosophy and how to live a well-lived life. I think there's probably millions of names for this kind of technique. We're all independent agents optimizing for ourselves, essentially. And you just don't take offense when you might be collateral damage in some of their actions. There's no ego to try to control other people. There's no ego around other people's agency. So to me, correct point, we should all try to let things be and be more with flow. But that is not a resignation to destiny. I think we should fight and really, really control the things we actually can control. That means how hard we work, how much we study, how we position ourselves. Do we write the extra email? Do we jump on the extra meeting? This is not a resignation of letting everything be, right? Like, that is just like giving up. To me, that's like insufficient to say let them be. I think it's almost a weak statement, because does it mean let them walk all over me? Does that mean let them exploit me? Hell fucking no, because you can control how you react. In some sense, I think Mel's statement is directionally correct around you cannot control things you cannot control, but needs to be stronger. The things you can control, you gotta fight vigorously around. That's what gets you greatness. That gets you your own agency to respond against the forces of nature of everything else going around you.
Here's what a junior JP Morgan analyst is spending his money on in a week.
I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. Bought some clothes. This is my dry cleaner.
All right, so what is this job? A junior analyst at JP Morgan. So JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, these are some of the biggest investment banks, financial institutions. I'm assuming it's an investment banking analyst. So this is an entry-level job. You're right out of college, you become an analyst. You do that for 2-3 years. You get promoted to associate VP, executive director, managing director, partner, etc. So you climb the corporate ladder. So for avoidance of doubt, investment banking analyst, bottom of the totem pole, pretty prestigious job, right? These are not easy jobs to get. You often have to get the Ivy League degree, do the right networking. So kudos to this young man. Getting a JP Morgan investment banking analyst job is a hard job to get. It means that he's smart, he's worked hard, he's networked well. Whatever strings you're pulling, if you're super smart or super networked and get the right family connections, this indeed is not an easy job to get. So kudos.
Bought some clothes. This is my dry cleaner. Oh, I ate Shake Shack, wherever this is. Oh, I bought Post Malone tickets.
$3,000 concert tickets.
Uber. I bought a headphone. Yeah. Clothes. Uber.
10K on clothes.
I actually don't remember that night.
Ubers.
I'm a wholesome guy. Food. Uber. Yay!
$32,000.
In a month? Wait, in a week, my brother. Very spendy, huh? Junior investment bankers make pretty good money for a 22, 23, 24-year-old kid right out of school. Probably clearing 150, 200K max, depending on your role and which bonus bracket that you land in. But saying he's a top bucket analyst, you probably, yeah, you know, somewhere between 150, 200 all in, which is great money. But 32K in a week is pretty rough, pretty aggressive, man. It's spendy. But what is like the investment banking job in general? A long story short, investment banking, you're a middleman sales guy. Like your job is to package up companies to sell them to other companies or other investors. The junior level of investment banking is being a PowerPoint jockey and an Excel jockey to package up someone else's company to sell to someone else, and you're the middleman that gets paid on a fee if that transaction actually happens. So a lot of this person's actual day-to-day life is sit in the bowl, sit on the desk, grind 9 to 9. It's usually pretty aggressive. You know, 10 years ago when I was, you know, had friends going through that process, pretty like, you know, 80, 90, 100-hour work week. Sounds like people are getting a little bit soft, or people care about work-life balance more these days, so people aren't working their analysts as hard. But the job is essentially being a little PowerPoint Excel bitch. So it's not a very smart intellectual job, right? Like the senior iBankers are relationship people. They have their relationship with the hedge funds, the private equity funds that are the buyers. They have a relationship with the CEOs and the founders in which broker companies. Oftentimes, they're generating pitch books for free. They don't make any money on it. They're just constantly pitching ideas and trying to make intros. So hopefully that demystifies what investment banking is. In the tier of prestige in finance, iBanking is on the lower end. VCs, private equity, hedge fund owners, they're all on the buy side. They actually have capital behind. They're actually principal decision makers. These are often more prestigious jobs. So very quickly, the best iBanking analysts quickly recruit into hedge fund or private equity associate jobs or venture capital associate jobs. This is all to say 32K in a week is pretty aggressive for someone quite junior in their career. Hey, you live once. I'm not telling you how to spend your money. Have fun. Good luck on your financial career. Doesn't seem like the most astute financial planning if you want to continue progressing. You want to be an asset allocator of the highest degree. But what do I know? Good luck to you. Maybe you can iBank one of my companies when you do this job for another 15 years and climb up off of your 10K little clothing run. I don't know. Best of luck to you.
Did you know you can make $900 in 3 hours in a stupid easy way, all from your computer? Well, let me show you.
All right. What is the grift today? 900 bucks in 3 hours and it's stupid easy.
First, go to textbroker.com. Textbroker wants to pay you for every word you type. Go right here to the top where it says I write content and then go to payment.
Feels rough, man. I kind of don't like doing these videos because I'm giving like these random sites free advertising, but I'll do it for the content. We'll do it for the content.
And then go to. As you see, Textbroker wants to pay you $489 for typing 8,900 words. As you see right here, the average speaker in the US can speak about 150 words per minute, which means it should only take you an hour for about 9,000 words. Now here's what makes it super easy. You don't even have to type the word yourself.
You're gonna just
go to Google,
copy paste ChatGPT shit into this and try to sell it.
Go to Google Docs and then go to Tools, and then you want to select voice typing. As you can see, it's
okay, not quite ChatGPT.
Right on the screen. So for a couple hours of work, you have over $900, nearly $1,000 even. So for that last hour, you're gonna head to Grammarly.com and you're gonna check all your work. If you want to know how to make 5 figures a month passively from home, make sure you hit follow and see my profile.
Basic sense, guys. Basic sense. I have no idea what this business is, but ostensibly, this service is going to want you to write some marketing copy or some copy that's going to be useful to someone else, in which they can even provide you $300 an hour work rate to compensate for some utility. I think I got to answer the question, hey, hustle guy, is your copy better than ChatGPT auto-generated copy? Like, what are you doing that's adding utility to the world at the rate of $300 an hour? If you can't answer that question, you gotta just really think, hey, am I being frauded? Am I getting grifted? At a certain point, if it's too good to be true, it's not true. If you cannot really quickly understand the value there, someone's getting fucked. And that person being fucked is probably you because you're wasting your time on this fake thing. For example, I know when I'm buying a laptop, I'm getting a computer. I know when buying a microphone, I'm getting a little device to be able to record my voice to send to you. When you watch my content, hopefully you're getting a little bit of knowledge to take into your own life. The value transaction should be very, very clear in every single transaction. If it's very vague in terms of how the end person's gonna get some value from you, you gotta be careful, because that likely means you're the fish, you're the target. It's a hard economy out there, so I think there's more and more people grifting. So be careful out there, guys. Be careful.
I have a lazy girl job. I started a business where I do not have to be actively working to have revenue flowing in.
100K a month, so she's clearing 1.2 million a year. That's definitely top 1%, so she's crushing it. Let's see what her gig is.
Instead, my business makes me passive income. So I'm making thousands of dollars every day when I'm sleeping in, watching Housewives, shopping for baby clothes, or doing whatever else I want to be doing that day. I started this business almost 4 years ago, and now that I'm pregnant, I'm even more grateful for the freedom it allows me to have. Dealing with the constant nausea and exhaustion that comes with pregnancy is a lot already. I couldn't imagine dealing with that and having to go into an office for 8 hours every day. Not to mention, I feel really lucky that I don't have to worry about money or worry about going back to work once my baby's born. And you guys, this type of freedom and this type of income is actually a lot more realistic than you probably think. Like, I am not that special, okay? If I can do it, you can do it. You just have to start.
She's already talking about it in a very strange way, because if I owned a business that turns over $1.2 million a year, 100K a month, I'm not talking about it as a job. Right? This is not a job. She's a business owner. Let's see what part 2 has to say, but the way she's already framing her job slash business that throws off 1.2 million in passive income is sus. We'll put it that way.
This is exactly how I make over $100,000 a month at 24 years old. Back in 2020, almost 4 years ago, I started a dropshipping business.
Ooh.
I saw success with this business pretty quickly.
I thought dropshipping was 2021. Let's continue.
By month 6, I was making $40,000 a month, and I quit my 9-to-5 job. From there, I spent about 2 years perfecting my dropshipping strategy and perfecting my skills in e-commerce. At this point, I was making multiple 6 figures a year, and I was dropshipping full-time. Then in 2022, I was feeling kind of stuck. I was really happy with and proud of the business I had built, but I wanted to make more money. I desperately wanted to hit that 7-figure mark. Around that same time, I was getting a lot of messages from friends and family asking me if—
Again, I think dropshipping, you got to be very clear about top line revenue versus actual percentage gross profit, that take home cash flow. So again, dropshipping is a relatively low margin business because all you do is the internet marketing side. Dropshipping means that you're using someone else's product, someone else's factory, someone else's fulfillment, in which you are the last value of acquiring that customer. So that ends up being a fairly low margin business, right? So I can imagine she's, on the low end, 10% gross margin, on the higher end, 30, 40, 50% gross margin. So you got to discount all of her top line revenue numbers by at least half, if not 3/4 of her actual gross profit. So let's just make sure we're getting the numbers correct here.
If I could help them get started or if I could mentor them. That's when I had my aha moment. Dropshipping genuinely changed my entire life, and I had strategies that were tested over and over and over again.
So she's selling you dropshipping courses, and that's how she makes money? Now she goes from a low margin dropshipping business to selling you courses and information product for much higher margin.
I realized that I could create an online course as an—
Ooh, so predictable. Geoff Woo, genius again.
My first year of launching this course, I made just under $1.8 million with no paid ads, so like 90% of that was profit. So if you're someone with a business, side hustle, passion project, or a special skill and you're dying to hit that 7
buy your course,
an online course to your business model.
Dude, I love her hustle, right? Now she realized that selling her dropshipping courses is not good enough because that market's probably dead. She's leveling up the next meta. She's gonna sell you an online course in how to sell online courses. I appreciate the entrepreneurial hustle, but this is like grift on grift on grift. Enough said. Really, best of luck to you. Hope you have a healthy baby and a great career in life.
Here's a side hustle for the broke teenagers. You can make $500 per day passively with just a phone and a laptop.
There's such a meme about these passive income type of things. You just need a phone, you get a few $100s a day. All right, rain damage, shield up.
And I'm not talking about drop shipping, SMA, crypto, or any of those side hustles. This is something new and unsaturated. So first, go to Google Maps and search for a business type. I chose solar companies, but it really doesn't matter. Then you're gonna find the businesses that don't—
You're gonna sell like ad services or copywriting services to these small businesses. That's my prediction. Again, let's see if Geoff Woo can predict these guru types.
And here's the best part, you hardly have to do any of the work on your own. All you have to do is call up these businesses and offer them a website for completely free.
Good, pick up the phone and start dialing.
Okay.
So you get the website, we're gonna go and grab one of the pre-made website templates within GoHighLevel.
So not quite copywriting, but basically copywriting, because what is a website? Some photos and some copy.
Then after we do this, we'll have a bunch of businesses that we're working with and that trust us. The next thing to do is offer them the other features within GoHighLevel. Things like Google review automation, missed call text back, or AI chatbots. But the thing is, for these, they're gonna have to pay us every single month just to keep using it. If you want to learn more, I'm hosting a free class in my Discord server next week, so click the link in my bio to join, and also hit the plus follow button.
GoHighLevel, I saw their latest investment deck. Basically, their marketing strategy is to pay influencers like this kid to basically be an affiliate marketer for their GoHighLevel software. So the real people making bank is not this influencer, is not you, it's GoHighLevel. They're essentially a software platform that lets influencers white label their software. They catch you in a little bit on their SaaS revenue, but they take the lion's share. The real sauce, the real genius is not you, not this influencer. It's the shareholders and venture capitalists using affiliate marketing, making it look like they're teaching a little secret, but they're the one making the little game for you to play in your sandbox. That's the real sauce behind this type of content.
Here's a simple online job you can start today as a complete beginner, making 1 to 3K a week, and you do not need prior experience.
52K to 150K a year. Let's go.
And 2 to 3 hours a day. And if you do, great. There's no creating product or holding inventory. You do not need to do cold calling. Thank God you don't need to bother family or friends or recruit people. And you don't need to show your face on social media if you don't want to. First, go to Amazon.com and scroll down so you can sign up to become an affiliate.
You want to do affiliate marketing for Amazon, right? So affiliate marketing is that you post your little link to Amazon. Amazon will give you a couple points of that overall purchase price. All right, what's a clever hack in which you're distributing your link everywhere?
Scroll through Amazon and choose a product that you want to promote. For this example, we're gonna choose this collagen. Then click on text so you can copy this link right here. From there, you can start promoting the product through your social media profile. Or you can go to Pinterest.com and create a pin.
What the f? He's literally going to tell you to be an Amazon affiliate, and you're going to have your traffic go from your little shitty social media profile. How many friggin' collagen things are you going to sell, my brother? I don't even know how this guy got so much traffic. Like, why am I even talking about this guy, right? Like, this is not some secret. Affiliate links are well known. You get a couple points from posting this link around. You're a sales guy that's paid per commission. Nothing overly sexy or not sexy about this. It's a very reasonable way to make a living. Very hard to scale. If you want to get a little coffee money to pay your morning coffee addiction, like, sure, you can make a few bucks a day posting an Amazon affiliate link. But the scale to a super high level, this is literally people's professional jobs, making 6 figures doing performance marketing, brand marketing, influencer marketing. This is not a trivial thing you wake up and you randomly get at being an affiliate marketer. Good luck. Keep growing your business.
Every fucking day I wake up and I don't want to do some fucking shit. I'm like, okay, man, do you want to be a bitch today? Do you want to feel like a little bitch? Do you want to walk around all day knowing that you could, but you didn't?
David, curse word, Goggins. Actually a fan. I like David. Appreciate your service to the country. Appreciate you bringing back a little bit of that tough love, that rough masculinity back into American culture. I generally agree. You've gotten a little soft, a little bit too PC, a little curse words here and there to like inject some energy and vitality back into our culture is never a bad thing. And I like that he's leading by example, right? He's doing hard things every single day. That's something that I ascribe to a lot. A lot of what growth comes from is doing things you do not want to do. You cannot rely on motivation or inspirational speech to get you pumped up every single day. Sometimes you just gotta do shit you don't want to be doing. That's where real progress is made, because we all can get excited and hyped up for 1, 2, 3 days, but 4, 5, 6, 15th day on, there's no longer some inspirational speech, no longer some motivational speech that gets you up and going. You gotta just keep showing up and keep improving. When there's something hard in front of you, tell yourself to do it. Go towards the conflict, go towards that stress, because that's the only way you can actually improve. I live that way too. When there's an opportunity I think is stressful, that's awkward, when I need to make that cold call or make that tough ask or that hard negotiating point, I remind myself, hey, this is what makes the real progress. This is what makes real value. asking and pushing for that extra last turn. So I lean into those tough opportunities.
You should never pay a debt collector because the debt doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the debt collector. Let me explain this to you. If I owe Amex $1,000 and I say I refuse to pay you, and they sell my debt to ABC Debt Collections Company,
okay.
the debt doesn't belong to James Chang anymore. The debt belongs to ABC Debt Collectors. Why should I pay a debt that doesn't even belong to me anymore? Most people get scared because debt collectors, if you don't pay, we're going to garnish your way. They get scared. No, it's against the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. You don't have to pay debt collectors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're not in the mafia land of you don't pay your debt. Some guys with baseball bats show up to your door and break your kneecaps. But they can't kneecap your credit score, right? Like, this is money that you spent out of your own free will, buying shit you couldn't afford. On a personal integrity level, pay off the shit that you bought, man. No one told you to buy something that you couldn't afford. Their effective tool against you to collect their debt is to slash your credit score. If you have low credit, you can't get a mortgage, you can't borrow more money. So I think the system is relatively fair. You're not gonna get your life ruined out of a $1,000 piece of debt. But yeah, if you can't pay back $1,000, the system will not let you borrow any more money. Don't go into debt to buy the Gucci bag you can't afford.
Hey, I'm coming to San Antonio, man. Will you give me 5 minutes? This is before anybody knew who I was, right? No books, no kind of notoriety. So they're like, no, don't come by. But see, that was interest. To me, that's interest. No, I'm not interested. Not interested.
So not interested to you is interest.
Well, it is. It says not interested. Not is an adjective to describe interest.
Okay.
Right? So it's a level of interest.
So if someone says they're not interested,
on a scale from 0 to 10, what interest level do you have? None. That is a level.
Right.
Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You with me? A few minutes ago, he didn't know he didn't know he had no interest. At least I'm on it. You see what I'm saying? You get it?
Well, I wouldn't do that. I disagree with that. But I'm not saying reasonable minds could differ. I'm more about hitting massive numbers. I would move on to the next guy.
I've actually seen this clip go viral because Jordan Belfort and Grant, some of the most notorious business gurus out there, were beefing on a podcast. And this is pretty funny because I think the internet sentiment was that Jordan Belfort, a convicted financial felon, basically won out in public perception because Grant was being hard-nosed, saying that, hey, when someone's telling you no interest, it's worth your time following up and banging down their door. For Jordan saying, hey, if someone's telling you no interest, move on to the next prospect. It feels like there's a constructive argument in terms of when to assess, when to move on a lead. I think that would be a more constructive conversation that Grant could have spoken towards, but he wants to make a point that zero interest is some level of interest. It's a very academic point, but I think the practical answer is that if I'm trying to sell you this microphone and you say, no, fuck off, I'm not trying to buy a microphone, me wasting any incremental time trying to sell you this thing is a waste of my time as a salesperson. It is likely a much higher probability, better use of my time to find the next person to talk to that says, hey, maybe, or hell yeah, I want to be a content creator, I want to buy this microphone. I'm asking you the question, do you think you can make more money moving on to the next prospect, or do you want to bang down a door of someone who says, no, leave me alone? You get to choose who's right, you get to choose what do you think is a better sales technique. This is the great thing about our country. Competition of ideas, competition of speech. You get to choose who you want to listen to. You get to choose what kind of implementation style you want to implement for your business.
What would you do if you have $100,000? I'll go first.
I would be wondering, where the fuck did the rest of my money go?
I'm gonna buy both of these cosmetic fixture at $100,000 a piece by going to the bank and get what's called a rehab loan, where I only need to put 20% down and the bank will finance the rest. So I only have to come out of pocket with $40,000.
Okay. So now we're talking about a real estate deal. So, okay, maybe we just reshift the question. If I had $100,000, how would I allocate it? That probably is a more interesting question.
The rest of the money, I'm gonna use it to fix up the property. After I fix the property up, then I'm gonna rent both of them out. Then I'm gonna go back to the bank and do what's called cash out refi. So I'm gonna pull the $100,000 that I have invested in the property back out again. I'm gonna put a new mortgage on this property, and I'm gonna use the rent money that I collect to pay for the new mortgage. Now I got my $100,000 back. I can go do that again. I own those two properties with none of my own money, and now they're worth $200,000 a piece. So
I like how he pronounces money. My money.
My net worth just went from 100,000 to 400 G's. Boom, just like that. And that, my friend, is how you get rich and wealthy through real estate.
I'm just looking at the date post on this content, and this is 2021. So if you remember, in 2021, this is the heart of COVID, interest rates were 0, so mortgages were essentially free, right? You could get 2-3% mortgages, right? Like if you had really, really good credit, you get something like 7-8. You're not as bankrolled. Like I've seen mortgages closer to, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12%. So the idea of this, like, get leverage, put a little bit of down payment, borrow the rest, do a refi, like fix it up a little bit, refi, pull the money out and buy more, lever up, buy more mortgages. It's much harder now because the interest is much higher. So the amount of cash you need to generate by renting these properties out need to be that much higher. If you were hedged on the loan to value of your portfolio and you have good rental income, you can float this current period of high interest payments. But a lot of people who over-levered blew up. So again, this reminds me of the Big Short movie, right? So in 2008, you think of the scene of the stripper who has like 4 mansions and multiple condos. Basically, it's a modern day version of that, which is borrow with very little down payment, cash refi, reinvest, do this same little game. Again, this game works when there's very low interest rate and the market goes up. When interest rates go up and the market doesn't go up, you get blown out. If I only had 100K, I'd probably try to build up my skills and get a job. Like 100K is not that much risk capital to invest too aggressively. So it might be the boring answer, but if I had 100K, I'd get an education, get skills, increase my earning power by having financial skills, engineering skills, design skills, accounting skills, any skill, even general contracting skills to build buildings. Get skills in which you can increase your earning power, and then you can earn a salary, try to make 6 figures of income. And then you can have a little bit more flexibility, more aggressiveness to take that 100K nest egg, invest into more aggressive assets, right? Like, I'm not gonna be here telling you, hey, go invest in startups with 100K, go invest in Bitcoin and put all your money into crypto with 100K. If that was my last 100K, I'd be pretty conservative with it because I ain't trying to be homeless on the street. I would level up my earning power, and as I get more earning power, be more and more creative and aggressive with my investments. That's real talk.
People out here flexing that they make 10K a day. And I understand to the 99.9% that's a fuck ton of money. I get it, and so be it.
It is a fuck ton of money.
Now that we have that out of the way, let's talk to the 0.001% that understand what 10K actually is. What is that? 300K a month. What is that? 3 million a year. 10 years, that's...
We're gonna do quick mental math. It's not that hard to beat. It's 3.65 million a year. Be precise.
40% taxes. What are you left with? It's not enough. Okay, let's say you're left with 20.
Okay, so you're assuming that's all income, no capital gains, no QSBS or other ways to lower that tax expense.
Living expenses, you're left with 15. You just worked 10 years and you have 15 million in the bank. I know that sounds like a lot of money, but it ain't a lot of money because you can spend it really fast. Sure, you can scale 10, 20, 30K days, but if you want to get the big numbers, dude, you need to be playing a completely different game. Elon did it. The guy sells out of PayPal, takes all of his fucking money from PayPal, reinvests it, goes risky, almost loses it all, and builds 3 multi-billion-dollar companies. He could have cashed out at 150, sat back, called it a day.
People like Elon aren't thinking about their daily income. They're not thinking about a 10K, 20K, 30K sales day. People aren't looking at income streams as wages. You're looking at compounding share price and value of your assets. And that's what owning businesses and ultimately owning multi-billion-dollar businesses looks like. He's not thinking of Tesla or SpaceX or Neuralink as, hey, this is throwing off 10, 20, 30 $1 million a day of free cash flow. He's thinking about building the enterprise value, the share price of these entities. And then the income comes, right? Because all of his wealth is in the appreciation of stock. It's capital gains, not income. I don't know what this kid's point of this video is, but I'm gonna try to make this more useful to everybody, which is that there's a difference between thinking about building wealth through scaling your daily income, your wage, which are taxed at a higher percentage rate, versus building shareholder equity, share price, right? That's taxed at capital gains, and that can compound in a much more scalable way. No one is making $1 trillion a year of cash. Amazon, Microsoft, these are $1 trillion business entities. And if you own a percentage of that, that's how you get billion, $100 billion net worths. He's correct. There's different games to play to build wealth, and you got to understand which game you're playing.
If the Ethereum ETF becomes a narrative, which it will, look at this shit, dude. BlackRock already applied for the Ethereum ETF, bro. Just nobody knows it. They applied November 15th, so it's coming. What are they gonna do? Not win? They already got the Bitcoin one approved. Just a matter of time, brother. Ethereum's going to at least $10,000.
Minimum.
Oh, bro, I'm so ready for it. Sky's the limit on this shit. Crypto's just getting started.
Yeah, Ethereum ETF is priced in, bro. Look, I am actually long crypto as well. Hold Bitcoin, hold ETH. I'd be very careful on price targets. It's going to have a lot of volatility. This is not insider news. Ethereum ETF is priced in. That is not going to move the markets. I think we got to be real careful, real choppy. I think like the most important levers for the rest of 2024 is actually how Jerome Powell is going to move interest rates. There was expectation that they'll cut 3 times this year. I think inflation's still very, very high, very, very hot. There might be no cuts. That's going to be the most important lever. I think all these financial instruments, ETFs, all going to be very reasonable. But that stuff, you're not going to get inside information track. You're not going to out-trade people really, really in the know. Don't get too hyped up. Like, I think ETH 10K, Bitcoin 100K, very, very possible. It's just going to be very, very hard to predict when that's going to happen. I think on a long enough time horizon, I would be long that. That's why I am long. But I've been holding for years. I'm not day trading this stuff. Be careful with the crypto trading, guys. With stuff like this, easy come, easy go. You can make a fortune, you can lose a fortune very, very quickly.
Bro, oh my God. Brother, do you understand how much money there is in the world? Do you understand how many trillions of dollars were spent over the last 10 years, and you guys say, are you not? Then why the fuck are you working when they're printing this shit out of thin air? You gotta change your mindset. How do you? If you're stocking shelves, you gotta be out here hustling, networking, connecting with people, reselling sneakers, reselling Instagram pages, stocking shelves. Leave that to a bot, not you. Yeah? That's how you need to feel. Every time you stock that shelf, you stock that shelf, peasant shit. Are you gonna quit that shit in the next 60 days? You have promise? Quit that 60 days, motherfucker.
I don't like the tone and delivery, but I think Luke Belmar actually makes a reasonable point. The more you spend a time in a certain type of activity, the better you get at it. In this day and age, we want to be orienting our time and energy into skills that compound and that can generate more income and more wealth for ourselves, right? Like, that's what a job is. And if we're going to do something, you might as well do something that, 1, gives us joy, 2, earns us more earning power. Stocking shelves is a manual labor that's not going to really compound and give you utility in an increasingly competitive and automated world. So I think it's a fair point to challenge this guy to say, hey, build better skills, spend your time networking, spend your time creating and practicing skills that are going to have you create you more earning potential. But it's not just like networking or doing digital skills or getting better at the computer. There are also manual jobs that I think are going to be really well rewarded. I think plumbers, I think construction workers, those are going to be quite hard to automate in terms of robots. I think actually a lot of white collar jobs are going to be more at risk for disruption by AI than blue collar jobs. But I think the fundamental point remains. When you are creating a livelihood, realize that you're not just trading your time for money, you're also building out a network, you're also building out a skill set, and try to orient your time and energy to a network and a skill set that's going to compound better in the modern economy. So instead of stocking shelves, maybe you want to edit videos. Instead of sweeping the floor, you want to be learning how to code. Instead of being a cashier, maybe you learn how to sell software. These are likely to be better skill sets in the modern economy than something that might be more easily replaceable by AI or robotics. Fair point to orient your attention, orient your skills, orient your practice towards more valuable skill sets and networks.